No, too close. Okay, that's better. Hello. My name's Kim. Usually I rock up here and I make videos for the Coffee and Craft podcast that I have here on this channel. Today though is the first Friday of the month, and therefore we are getting a monthly reset video, which if you are new here is basically, it's just something I kind of do for me and I share with you in case there's anything in there that might be interesting to you. I set myself some goals for the month, review the ones that I hopefully did over the previous month, but not always. Moving on. I do some chitter chatter about my monthly budget, whether or not I stuck to it or not, and we talk about sales on my website and Etsy and who won out. I do a little Fight Club thing. If you haven't got a clue what I'm talking about, watch on. It really is a proper Fight Club thing. And yeah, it's just something that kind of helps me set the tone for the month ahead. And seeing as we are apparently in September, because when the bloody hell did that happen, let's jump in with some goals. Okay, I did set the bar pretty much on the floor in terms of goals for August, because I knew that one, it was the school summer holiday for my daughter, so you know, there's that, and two, there was a buttload of DIY that we needed to do on the house. I kind of wish we hadn't started because it's still ongoing. My one goal, which was to properly figure out what I was going to include in my autumn shop update, kind of got done, but I found it really, really difficult to focus on this time around. Now, usually when I plan shop updates, my problem is keeping it realistic with what I can do in a period of time. I will usually have a list of ideas and I have to take so many off. That's usually how it goes. It's been the complete opposite. I've found it so difficult to be motivated at the moment because I feel like Etsy, things on Etsy, that's a big part of it. But since I got my website, I've been able to unhook myself quite a lot from Etsy's nonsense. I've spoken at length about it, so I'm not going to bore you again with it today. But just the overall landscape of selling online at the moment and being online. I don't know if any of you have noticed it, but we are definitely in a state of flux and okay, truth time. There have been moments where I have thought, daydreamed even, about sacking it all in, getting a job somewhere else and just taking a break from the mental load. I'm not doing it, but I have caught myself daydreaming about it quite a lot lately. I think I might do a video about this, maybe for the membership, but for now, just, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. And I always thought in the back of my mind that if I ever did quit my business, it would be because it wasn't financially viable, because it wasn't making me enough money to pay the bills. And it's not the case. As I'll go into a bit more detail in a minute, things are going quite well at the moment. So I'm very, very fortunate. But bloody hell, the stress and the plate spinning and just trying to figure out what works online at the moment and if that's in line with how I want to run my business and show up online, that it's a lot. Has anybody else noticed that just things online are just very, very different right now? Anyway, so yes, the motivation just hasn't been there lately, and I've got a very small list of items that I want to make going forward that have at least they lit a spark, and the idea of making them fills me with joy, which I need right now. When it came to thinking about it through the Etsy lens, I just, every single time I just didn't want to. My brain just sort of shut down. It was more like, I don't care what works on Etsy anymore. And of course, during the summer, they brought out their news of, what have they done? They've kind of done like Star Seller 2.0. It's essentially the exact same nonsense. But now they're basically slowly admitting that it is going to affect you in search if you don't hit these milestones, these hoops that they want you to jump through. But at the same time, they've also told, is it US sellers, that they have to either offer things free postage or under $6. Otherwise, it might affect their where they show up in search as well. And I just thought, what? If you are a US seller, oh my love, I feel for you. I really do. I read that and I thought, what are you doing? And of course, we're talking about Etsy. So the answer is, pfft. Actually, no, we're not talking about Etsy. We're talking about my goals. So get gone, Etsy. My point is I just don't have any motivation when thinking about Etsy or what to list on it. So I've been thinking mainly about my website because I think I really, while I want my Etsy shop to work, I just, at this point in time, I think if I woke up to an email saying we've shut your shop, I'd be like, okay, cool. I really don't think I would give a stuff. That's where we are. Anyway, so did I hit my target? Yes. Yes, I did. Eventually. It was like pulling teeth, but the moment I realised that I wanted to focus more from my website point of view, that's when things started to feel easier, and that should tell you everything you need to know. So I'm going to be making a small shop update for the website, and I am kind of excited because it's still hand embroidery, but I'm slowly incorporating a different medium that just kind of, it's injected a bit of excitement and joy back into things. Let's just put it that way. And I'm looking forward to sharing more over on my Instagram account and stuff and the other channel. But for now, we'll just say, yes, I did get that goal done, just kind of. Okay, so let's just move on. Goals for September, well, again, just one, but it's a biggie and it is literally that. The whole making of the items and launching them. Some people have got their autumn launches up, launched, past tense, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm making mine now. But the summer is not a quiet time for me, you guys, and it's definitely not relaxing. So I was not quiet nor relaxed during the summer, which is a good problem to have. Anyway, let's move on. Budget. Did I stick to my budget? Well, my budget was pretty low. It was the standard. You know, obviously, like a lot of you, I have monthly expenses. I will also have a certain amount that I put into my business savings so that I can pay my annual expenses in one go without it crippling me. And also, I like to have a little bit in the bank account just in case I need to buy supplies and stuff, which is just as well because I needed to buy supplies and stuff. So I didn't spend a huge amount. August budget, I did good, well done me. Sales. Now this is the Fight Club bit. Every month I do the little Fight Club between Etsy and Shopify. I am questioning that though because it's based on sales, and what you'll see, this was last month's tally. You can see that I've been doing this for a little while. I like to gamify things because it makes it easier for me to care about it. So who won out in August? Etsy, believe it or not. But again, there's more. See, I've written down, so Etsy won out just in terms of sales. It was close. But again, just like last month and previous months when they've won, they didn't win out in terms of revenue or profit. So sales are up on both Etsy and my website from this time last year. But this is the but. There's always a but, isn't there? That's sales. So I'm talking about number of sales. However, revenue, profit on Etsy is down from this time last year. And revenue and profit on my website is up. Again, I think that is down to the lower ticket items being the thing that sells on Etsy and the higher ticket items doing well on my website. But this is what tickles me. Visits are up on Etsy, but revenue and profit is down. And then on my website, visits are down, but sales and revenue and profit are up. I know, clear as mud. But I'm just throwing that out there because I thought that'd be interesting. A lot of people think that when they get a website, they're not going to make as much money as they do on Etsy, for example, because they have to drive their own traffic. That could be. I can't tell you if that's going to be the case or not. Nobody can, FYI, because we don't know your business, what you sell, where you sell to, your ideal customer, the type of customer that you attract, etc., etc. So many different factors have an input as to how well you will do. For me, I think it's quite clear that my business does particularly well using a website, driving my own traffic. And I have to admit, I'm not even doing a great job at that at the moment. So yeah, that was August in a nutshell. Sales were pretty good. Revenue was very good. And I should point out as well, I mentioned that my Etsy sales have been up since this time last year. I also have noticed that uptick has been very recent, and I've mentioned it before in a previous reset video that it happened as soon as they shortened my shipping time. Or dispatch time, rather, not shipping. Shipping time, it takes as long as it takes. But I used to dispatch between, was it 1 and 2 days? I think it was just 1 and 2 days, and they shortened it to 1. And then I noticed I was getting more international customers again, which I hadn't had. I was only selling domestically up until that point. So that's fun. You either have to send out your items immediately the next day, otherwise you are essentially putting yourself in localization. That's certainly how it seemed for me. I don't know if that's across the board. Who knows? I don't care anymore. I've lost the will to live when it comes to Etsy. Hence why I focus on my website. Now I am going to keep selling on Etsy, but it's going to be the place that I focus my attention on supplies stuff. Although I will list my higher ticket things there too. I'm not going to jump through their hoops and try and promote the stuff there. I will be focusing on my website. I think in the back of my mind, I'm kind of doing everything in my business at the moment on the assumption that Etsy ceases to exist tomorrow or at some point. I'm not saying that it's going to, I'm not saying that it's in trouble, but I'm saying that it is getting to the point that I just don't care. Setting the tone for September for my business, I am very much looking at the website. And going forward, I'm looking at how I can promote my website, because Etsy has been giving me bad vibes. Well, okay, that seems like the biggest understatement, but something's going on because they have been screwing sellers over for years. We know this. It's a case of like how much they are screwing us over now. That's kind of what the conversation has been. But this feels different, and just the whole terrain of selling online feels different. So I'm going into September optimistic, energized, and cautious. That's the best I can put it. Anyway, thank you for joining me for this absolute nonsense and ramble. It's probably raised more questions than it's answered. But at the very bare minimum, I hope that I've just kept you company for however long this ends up being once I've edited out the ramble, because 26 minutes, you don't need to hear me ramble for that long. I will make sure this video is shorter. Alright guys, I will see you next week, hopefully, for a regular coffee and craft episode. Ta-ra!